The race for Contra Costa Sheriff Coroner, and so I'd like to invite candidate Brian Kalinowski to come up and speak to us.
Testing. And a lot like Dan O'Malley, I can't sit still, and so I'm going to walk around too. My name is Brian Kalinowski, and I'm a candidate for Sheriff of Contra Costa County. Some of you I've had the opportunity over the last several months to meet and have one-on-one dialogue. But those of you who I haven't had a chance to meet, hopefully you'll learn a little bit more about my candidacy and why I think I am the best candidate for Sheriff of Contra Costa County. First, a little bit about me. I'm married to my wife, Jenna. We live in the city of Antioch, where I've been a council member for the last 10 years in my third term. And we have two lovely children, Matt, who's 6 years old, and Will, who's 4. And so I'll tell you the same story I told yesterday at the Pittsburgh Chamber. Was Sunday morning we're waking up and doing what we do to get the day going. And my 6-year-old does what 6-year-olds do. He beats up on his 4-year-old brother. So I correct my 6-year-old, and he proceeds to tell me I'm the meanest dad in the world and that he's now voting for Dave Livingston. After a moment of shock, and it was probably my look, I had him then in cadence saying our name the rest of the day. So you can see how politics can affect households, and they affect even 6-year-olds. And 6-year-olds know how to get you. So, but having said all that, it's been an honor to participate in this campaign, and it's been an honor to serve the residents of this community for my entire professional life. I've been a member of the Office of the Sheriff for nearly 17 years. I manage our Marsh Creek Detention Facility. I'm a facility commander out there, and I'm a facility commander of our Custody Alternative Facility. Custody Alternative Facility does the ankle monitoring of offenders who are out in the communities serving their sentence, and also the weekend workers, as we know them, doing community service work, working off their sentences in lieu of doing those in custody. And that side of the business in corrections is actually the booming business. So I have a pretty dynamic responsibility in the management arena. In addition to the fact that, as I mentioned before, I've been on the Antioch City Council the past 10 years. I know there's a lot of preconceived notions about Antioch, and we do have our challenges. And I would say at the end of the day, we are the poster child for what you don't do to create rapid growth in a community, because I think we've seen the effects, and now we see the economic downturn. But we've had a responsibility to manage a budget and manage a dwindling budget and do some creative things in Antioch. And it's been a partnership. I'm a part of a group of 5 people, but I've been involved in that for the last 10 years and actually spearheaded the implementation of a 2-year budgeting process in Antioch. I'm running because I just don't think my opponent is the answer for the Office of the Sheriff, and I'll let the paper and the other folks who talk about candidates talk about that stuff. A lot like Mr. O'Malley said, it's not our role or responsibility to bash our opponents, but that's why I'm running. My involvement in the Sheriff's Office has been beyond the 17 years that I've served. It actually goes back to when my mom started as a deputy sheriff in 1979 when I was 10, 11 years old. So I've spent a lifetime growing up in the Sheriff's Office, and I have commitment, which is one of the core values of the Sheriff's Office, and I'm committed to the organization, and I'm committed to moving that organization forward. So what is it I bring, or what is it I want to do? Well, first and foremost, and a lot like Mr. O'Malley said, I don't want to rain on his parade, but there are a lot of commonalities in what he wants to do in the district attorney's office and the vision I see with the sheriff's office. And quite frankly, that's a re-engagement of local communities from the county level. That has to happen. So often we hear from local communities about a disconnect between Martinez and whatever community we happen to be in countywide. And we have a responsibility as department heads, and if I'm elected sheriff, to make sure that our staff, we set the tone, make sure our staff is engaged in those local communities and that we have those partnerships. So what we will do is we will do a 3-year strategic plan for the Sheriff's Office. And really for a lot of folks who have businesses and been involved in business, it's really a management 101 tool. But it is a tool that needs to be implemented and used if you're going to change a culture and a direction of an organization. So the first thing we do is we will go to every community, whether you're an incorporated sheriff's contract community like Lafayette and Lamorinda, or you're an unincorporated community like Alamo or Pacheco or Discovery Bay. We'll find out what we're doing right to provide services to you and be partners, and what you want to see that done differently. We'll take that information back into the organization to figure out how we will make that happen, and we will take it to the Board of Supervisors, each and every Board of Supervisors, and ultimately the Board of Supervisors, for an adoption. And that's important because for too long, as many of you know, the Sheriff's Office has operated in what I call a silo. We can no longer operate in that silo. We need to be community partners, and we need to be partners with the Board of Supervisors, who's responsible for providing the funding. And we need to have that blueprint about where the organization is going to go based on what the residents of the communities, who are the taxpayers, who we are responsible to and for going forward. So that's what we will do. We will engage local communities. Obviously, in dwindling economic times, we need to demonstrate efficient uses of our resources. And being nearly a lifelong member of the organization in one form or another, but obviously being a manager in the organization, I know what's working and, quite frankly, what doesn't work. And it's time to make those tough decisions and reinvent or retool some of these programs to better deliver the services, and not expect that all funding will go to public safety, because at the end of the day, public safety should be our first priority, but it doesn't mean you get all the money. So we need to clearly demonstrate our efficient uses of that. And third, but the quickest fix, is this graveyard staffing model. Thank you. This graveyard staffing model that we've implemented based on budget cuts, which essentially provides 4 sheriff's patrol cars countywide on the graveyard shift, with 2 officers in each, patrolling the 750 square miles of the unincorporated communities of this county. That is dangerous for the deputy sheriffs, and it's dangerous for the communities. And there is a proposal that I will implement day one that addresses a short-term solution for creating capacity. It's a 12-hour shift model. It's nothing fancy, but it creates the capacity necessary to bridge the gap between the economic downturn and what will be the economic rebuild. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But it's a short-term solution, and it's a fix to deliver the necessary services to each and every community. And at the end of the day, this campaign is about community involvement and community participation. And I hope that I earn your vote on June 8th. I look forward to the dialogue and debate that we'll have between now and Election Day. And I encourage you to go to my website, which if you have one of my campaign signs in your yard, it would be easy to figure out, but it's BrianKalinowskiForSheriff.com, and there's an opportunity to send me questions that you may have on any issue. And again, thank you for your time. And we'll cut it before I get told I've spoken too much. Thank you.